Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson, your Health Watchman, and the last couple of days I've been having videos on my website from speakers at my retreat, and some of them were speaking about fasting or eating less food. And I don't like to talk pretty much how often or how much I fast, but I've spoken to a lot of people over the years who have fasted for a very long amount of time. Some of them were water fasting, and some of them have done it with juice fasting, and some of them might have just gone blended foods. But the more people abstain from food, from my experience of interviewing people, something special happens in their body. And it's not starvation. It's really a special thing. And I know when I'm going even just one day without food, it helps me look at people that are eating and see the addiction and the emotion, that connection people have with food and the obsession people have with food. And I'm one of those people when I'm eating. But when I'm not eating, I see something different than when I am eating. Now, if you ever went in your day, a day in your life without eating, you might have realized this too. Go 2 days, 3 days, but the longer you go, the more you realize this. And when I see people saying, food doesn't motivate them, I think sometimes, sure motivates me. I like food. I like a good bite. But I interviewed a fellow named Dr. Fred Bishy, who's been eating a raw food diet for many years, and he's a wonderful nutritionist. And he's fasted a good amount of time over the years. And I loved one of his replies. He said, when you can love living without food as much as you love living with food, you know you've reached a special place, or at least a special discipline. And there's a lot of people from different cultures and belief systems around the world that say similar things. Food is definitely something that not only controls us, but people use it to control us. And that's a scary thought, but it's a good thought to know. So I believe the more we can go without food, the better off it's going to be. Dr. Koifman, I just spent some time with, who's going to be at our next retreat in May down here in Florida, talks a lot about fasting. And it's very interested because he's a doctor that's from Russia. And there's a couple of other raw food authors that are from Russia as well. And, it's one thing to do a juice fast. And that means just drinking juice and nothing else, whether for a day, for 2 days, for a week, or whatever it is. That's one thing. But then some people do a water fast. And that's just drinking water for a couple of days or a day or so. But in Russia, apparently, they do something called dry fasting. And you can't do it as long. It's not as healthy to do as long. And it might not be healthy to do it all if you have a certain condition. But apparently it's more popular in Russia than it is in most places around the world. It's called dry fasting, where you abstain from water, you abstain from juice, you abstain from food completely. And again, from the people I've spoke to who've done that, they've had very, very wonderful insights on the connection people have with food. Yes, there's a connection with our health in general, and I'm not saying we need to eat to be healthy, because the less we eat, I believe the more healthy we are. There are some foods that, or amounts we all require, and that amount is different for all of us. We can't live with no food. I don't believe in breatharianism. I don't think that's possible and feasible in today's world, and I don't think we should try. I don't think it's healthy to try. But investigating and fasting and giving the body a rest is something that many people don't look into enough of. And I think it's a very interesting, helpful thing we need to do. At our retreat that we're going to have, Dr. Koifman will be speaking. Stacy Cohen, a lady who speaks about fasting and fast often, she was at our last retreat. She's going to be talking about the benefits of fasting, along with doing some other things and talking about health. And in the Bible it talks about, when it comes to fasting, not to tell people when you're fasting, not to put on a sober face. It says wash your face and don't let people even know. It's a personal thing. It doesn't have to be a public thing. And people always say, well, when we fast, how long should we fast? I say, well, why are you fasting? And if somebody says, well, God called me to fast, I say, well, then he should call you when to stop fasting. What type of fast should I do? Well, why are you fasting? Well, he called me to fast. Well, he'll tell you what type of fast to do. If he's really calling you to do it, he's not going to harm your way of doing it. Now, many people say they're just fasting because they want to give the body a rest from eating. And that's a great idea. It's a wonderful thing. Do that. And I don't like to put a set amount of days on a fast, because if we say we're going to fast 10 days and then after 5 days we're in the mood for food, or at least our body's needing food, we should eat. And the vice versa. If we went 5 days and we feel we can go longer and we feel we're doing fine and our vital signs are wonderful, well then go longer. So when it comes to fasting, I guess let it go with the flow, as we could say. And check out Dr. Koifman's information on fasting. And just if you are going to fast, it is advisable, if it's for any significant length of time, that it's done under the supervision of somebody who has fasted or has good experience with fasting. If you never fast and you never want to fast and you think we need to eat food every day, that's the way we're designed and that's what we should be doing, I don't agree with you. I think fasting is beneficial, and I wish I personally fasted a lot more than I do, but I'll make my wishes come true, and I'll make it happen someday. But it's a preparation you got to get ready for in your mind to do it. But when you do it, you definitely see things different. So my question of the day is, how many of you fast on a regular basis, and what is the longest fast you've ever done? Was it on water? Was it on juice? Was it on nothing? And share your experience. Tell us if you agree with me that your insights are so heightened that you see people and the connection with food. I mean, I just see people when they're eating, when I'm fasting and I see people, it's just like I see so many more people eating, and I just see that food going in their mouth and them chewing. But when I'm eating also and doing the same thing, I don't even really recognize that. Very interesting. All right, put your comments, questions below the video. Let us know the answer to the question. And until then, everybody, have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.